Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, man. Today we have a Toronto Raptors proposed trade. This is actually from my boy OG Juan Kenobi. You can find him on Twitter at Gyro_22, GYRO_22. Here is the trade. Goran Dragic, Svi Malachi for Thaddeus Young and Doug McDermott. Now, here's the one kicker in this trade. So Thaddeus Young, 34 years old, 33 years old. The thing is, he's still very serviceable. He's played about 14 games for the San Antonio Spurs, so his trade value is extremely low. Now, Doug McDermott's the other piece in this trade, and here's the kicker. Doug was most recently signed $13.7 million for the next 3 years is what his contract's looking like. So Toronto in this trade, they would have to kind of figure out, like, all right, are we looking to have Doug McDermott for the next 2.5 seasons? Because if the answer is no, you can probably 100% find a better trade. But I think if worst comes to worst, this is definitely something that should interest Toronto. I know they're going for Pirtle. I know they're going for Gallinari. I know they're going for Miles Turner, Nurkic, Mo Bamba. Like, there's a bunch of guys that the Raptors could target. But let's say none of those teams are interested in what the Raptors are offering. Well, I mean, here you're getting rid of Goran, you're getting some value back. So let's talk about these two cats. Doug McDermott, I really like both these two players on the Raptors. I think this would give them kind of that scoring, or that scoring depth as well. But I think this would really give them more bench depth. But before we get into this video, guys, if you enjoy it, hit the like button, hit that sub button. Post Raptors content all the time. Doug this season's averaging about 12 points per game. My favorite part about Doug is his three-point percentage, his career three-point shooting, 41%. If you guys didn't know, I live here in Chicago, so we drafted Dougie, and we had him for just a handful of years, like 3 seasons, and he's a sniper. He's definitely a sniper. This season, he's shooting 44% from downtown while taking 5.3 threes per game. So I really like what Doug would be able to provide for this bench. Kind of almost like a Svi, but way more efficient. I guess kind of like what Svi was almost looking like in the first couple of games he played for the Raptors, if he just, I guess, was shooting the 3-ball a little bit better. But, I mean, Doug can score on his own. He's a great catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. He'll just get you a bucket. He'll get you a 3 when you need it the most. And then Thaddeus Young also played for the Chicago Bulls last season. I really miss him on the Bulls, man. I would love for the Bulls to make a trade for him. Now, he's on a $14 million one-year contract, so expiring deal. You don't have to worry about him for too long. Like I said, at this age, he's still producing, or he still can produce. This year, the Spurs haven't really asked him to do anything. He's barely played. He's played 14 minutes per game, so statistically, you're not looking at anything. 6 points, about 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists. But last season with the Chicago Bulls, put up 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and a steal, and then 0.6 blocks per game. This is a guy who just a couple of years ago was shooting like 35% from downtown, so he still has a little bit of stretching the floor ability, but defensively, I think both of these two guys would be just fine. Doug McDermott, I'd have a little bit more of a question mark as far as his long-term fit in Toronto. But the thing is, every team needs a lethal three-point shooter. I guess the Raptors are, I mean, they're lacking that right now. Yeah, you have the starters, but they don't have that guy who, like a JJ Redick almost. Like all those championship teams, like that Danny Green, that just guy from the three-point land that you just, when he shoots it, you know it's going in. So I think both of these two guys would be useful, but like I said, Toronto would have to figure out, all right, are we trying to have Doug McDermott for the next 3 years? But the point I was trying to get to is those guys are always, they always has value in the NBA, and with the contracts rising, $14 million a year isn't that bad. It's not that bad. Raptors, they don't really need to spend money in this upcoming offseason. Doug would kind of like really help out their scoring, so they'd be able to go for some more low risk, high reward, kind of like 1-year type deals, 2-year type deals where you're getting these guys on a lower contract. Raptor Nation, I need to hear from you guys. Would you accept this trade? Obviously, I know this isn't going to be Raptors fans' like first idea of like a Goran Dragic trade, but if worst comes to worst and you have no teams willing to trade for Goran because they just think the Raptors are going to buy him out or something. This is a trade that I think has every team in mind. San Antonio's kind of a interesting position, but Malachi Flynn, I mean, he's promising what he's playing. He had a good end to the year last year. Goran's going to help out the Spurs if they decide to play with him, and then Svi, I guess he's kind of like low risk, high reward, but hasn't really shown too much this season. So that's really it for today, guys. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Raptors Nation, if we could get this video to 100 likes, that would be awesome. Drop some comments down below on trade videos you guys want me to do, and have a nice night.